And it's down the road we go. This Wednesday is upon us, the second day of July, 2025. I'm Dan Kuntz, your host. It is warm. It is 75 degrees here already in the big city. It's going to be a little cooler today than Tuesday, but the trade-off is the wind, a red flag warning. No surprise here. Goes into effect at 2 o'clock this afternoon, goes until about sunset, about 9 o'clock tonight. We may very well have another one tomorrow. A weak cold front is coming in. It's going to cool us down a little bit, but the big story is going to be the wind, pretty strong winds between 5 and sunset tonight, and then again on Thursday, again between about 5 to about sunset. Tomorrow's winds won't be as strong as today's, but it's going to be breezy this afternoon, and then the upcoming holiday weekend is shaping up to be perfect. Sunny, mild, not too hot, very little wind. It's going to be a picture perfect weekend. By the way, we go back up to really warm temperatures next week. All those forecast details are coming up. We have some news to touch on. If you're a fan of the Mariners and the Apple Sox, you didn't have a very good Tuesday. Mariners got doubled up by Kansas City, 6-3. Highlights of that. Apple Sox lost in walk-off fashion to the Kamloops Northpaws last night. They scored in the bottom of the ninth to beat the Apple Sox 1-0. So Bellingham wins the first half of the West Coast League's North Division title. Still a good shot for the Apple Sox to make the playoffs. 4 teams from the WCL North make the playoffs, but if you win the first or the second half, you get home field advantage. That didn't happen for the Apple Sox. And we're going to play the really cool program that our content producer Josiah Davison put together with our friends at the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. It's a great piece of work. I learned a lot, and I thought I knew a lot about the museum and the Cultural Center. Turns out I was pretty ignorant about a few things. Mariah Thornack runs the place. Ron Lodge will be participating. His former company, the Keyhole Security Company, used to own the property that is now being developed by the Widener Apartments, including the old jail, which they're keeping. It's really cool. You want to check that out. It's pretty neat indeed. And Mike Minotti's got an opinion about something. It's tour time. Here we go. Let's fire up our cameras, and here we go. Kind of like yesterday, a few high clouds floating around up there. It looks like there's quite a bit of shadow covering the Wenatchee Valley right now. We set a record yesterday, but not a record high. We set a record high minimum temperature yesterday, if that makes sense. The coldest temperature that we had yesterday was 74 degrees, and that broke the old record of 73 degrees. So back in 2015. So we did set a record. The record high minimum temperature, which is something we don't see too often. But it was plenty warm. We got to 98. Moses Lake got to 100. Ephrata got to 100. Omaha got to 99. It was plenty warm for most people. Again, not quite as warm today. Camera number 2 from the Wenatchee Heights. Ooh, mixing things up a little bit. I'm pretty sure that's the monitor camera, high above, basically between Monitor and Cashmere, almost exactly between Monitor and Cashmere. So we're looking at Cashmere. You can see Stein Hill, and you can see Mount Cashmere, and the Cascades in the background, and a whole bunch of orchards just sitting there and growing. Is it pluots season yet? Pluots should be coming up about now, I think. I have to cruise to the local fruit stands and see if they got the pluots. Good. I love pluots. I gobble them down. When they're in season, they don't last very long. Camera number 3. Back up to Lake Wenatchee we go. Lake Wenatchee is pretty cool water, but when it gets this hot, it's actually quite refreshing. The water is about 10 degrees colder than Lake Chelan, and that is a big difference. A lot of people don't swim in Lake Wenatchee. They recreate, but they don't swim in it because, again, the water's a little cool. I mean, it's melted snow, after all. Good morning to Lake Wenatchee, and camera 4. Ooh, that's got to be the Chelan Butte camera, and it looks like there's quite a bit of high clouds up Waterville area. What's Waterville? Way off into the distance. Keep in mind, this is a very high camera. It's, I don't know, close to 4,000 feet above sea level. That's where we can turn that almost due east from the very tip top of the Chelan Butte and look over to the Waterville Plateau. That's a pretty impressive view, to say the least. And the trees aren't moving, so there's very little wind up there. And again, those clouds might be a bit not quite accurate because that is a lot of square miles that you're looking at from that shot. Here's a slide to show for you. No surprise here. It is the recipe. Warm temperatures, strong winds, very low relative humidity. We're talking down about 15% here in the Wenatchee Valley. So a red flag warning starts at 2 o'clock this afternoon, goes until 9. They may very well issue another one for tomorrow. But as I already mentioned, not going to be quite as windy on Thursday afternoon as it's going to be this afternoon as this weather system tracks through today and exits tomorrow, leading up to a very nice weekend. But very dry, very windy, very warm. Obviously, fire concerns are out there. From the National Weather Service, after a high of 98 yesterday, will be more like 90 today. But again, breezy this morning, windy this afternoon. Strongest wind gusts. We can see gusts at 30, 35 miles an hour here in the Wenatchee Valley. Stronger still up on the Waterville Plateau. And again, the strongest winds today will be between about 5 to about sunset. They will eventually decrease overnight tonight with a low of 63. Then we do it all over again Thursday. We're only going to get to about 85 on Thursday, which is about normal. Same deal. It'll be a little on the windy side in the afternoon, but not quite as windy tomorrow as today. It'll die out Thursday night, and then we're setting up for a nice Independence Day. How about sunshine in mid-80s? How does that sound for the holiday? And then into the holiday weekend, a lot of people taking Thursday off and taking Monday off. I mean, why not? Or just taking Monday off and get a 4-day weekend. Sunny mid-80s, sunny mid-80s, sunny upper 80s by Sunday, and we could get back to close to 100 by Tuesday and Wednesday. Next week, the long-term forecast is calling for sunny and hot. All right, after a quick break, the news. In fact, it's just 2 minutes, so grab your coffee and come right back, and we'll get you the information you need to get your Wednesday going. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Call Alpine Air Heating and Cooling today. Your comfort is their priority.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Tour Moses Lake just a gas tank away. With its abundance of outdoor activities, Moses Lake is a great place to visit. From fishing and boating to exploring the city's attractions, there is no shortage of things to do. Whether you're enjoying any one of the variety of restaurants with the family or an adventure-filled day with friends, Moses Lake has something for everyone. TourMosesLake.com and start your adventure today.
Central Washington Water understands the power of healing waters. If part of your wellness routine includes hot heat from a sauna, Central Washington Water now carries indoor and outdoor infrared and hot rock saunas by Tilo. Research shows there are many health benefits to a cold plunge after a good workout or relaxing time in your sauna. Harness the power of water in a hot spring spa, plug-and-play spas, a Tilo sauna, or a cold plunge tub. Stop by Central Washington Water, your wellness experts.
High clouds, very mild, 75 degrees, breezy this morning, windy this afternoon with a red flag warning this afternoon. Same deal tomorrow, breezy in the morning, windy in the afternoon, and then calm and pleasant and downright just about perfect for the Independence Day weekend. 9 minutes after the hour, Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison said yesterday that the cost of the manhunt for accused murderer Travis Decker has now topped $6 million. That money will be split among various law enforcement agencies. Morrison gave an update to Chelan County Commissioners on Tuesday morning. The 32-year-old Decker has been missing and sought by law enforcement nationwide since June 2nd. That's when his 3 young daughters, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, were found asphyxiated at an Icicle Creek campsite west of Leavenworth. Their father was the last person to see them alive. Morrison says after wide-ranging searches throughout the Cascade Mountains and elsewhere, recently the search effort returned to the scene of the crime. The sheriff says Travis Decker could soon be placed among the top 15 on the U.S. Marshal Service Most Wanted list. A reward of up to $20,000 is available for tips leading directly to his arrest. If you have any information, visit usmarshals.gov/tips. Well, Wenatchee Valley College has reached a settlement term with a science professor who sued them last year over alleged gender-based harassment and retaliation she faced while at work. Bobby Johnson's story was a focus of our Campus Crisis Special. We aired that last October. That investigated claims of a toxic work environment created by male colleagues at the college's science department and a lack of action by leadership. The settlement, which is still awaiting final approval, will award Johnson $1 million. Her lawyer, Sean Phelan, told us that as part of the agreement, Johnson will not return as a professor this fall. The college declined to comment on the pending settlement, but Communications Director Marcine Miller said since the fall, the college has worked to improve Title IX procedures and create a committee to help improve communication and decision-making among leadership. The U.S. Forest Service is estimating the Palmas fire burning 36 miles northwest of Aniat will not be contained until October. The lightning-caused fire began back on June 13th. It's grown to about 1,700 acres. The Palmas fire is burning within the footprint of the 2015 Wolverine fire and is being fueled by heavy downed woody material, grasses, and patches of shrub. The fire has closed nearly 30 trails, 9 roads, and 6 campgrounds. 3 hand crews and 3 helicopters are working to construct a direct line along the southern flank of the fire, and crews are planning for fire protection on private properties south of the fire, although no structures are currently threatened. Okanagan County will soon see a new judge on the Superior Court bench. Governor Bob Ferguson yesterday announced he's appointing attorney Rachel Hong to fill the judicial seat that is being left by Robert Grimm. Hong has worked as a litigation attorney as well as a career law clerk at the U.S. District Court in Seattle before opening a practice in Okanagan County and working as the manager of an organic pear and apple orchard there. She's also a nonprofit board member and a volunteer attorney with the Northwest Immigrant Rights Project. Judge Grimm stepped down officially yesterday. He's going to run for mayor of Winthrop, the Okanagan County town where both he and Hong live. Hong's appointment becomes effective tomorrow. The Washington State Department of Natural Resources is commemorating National Wildland Firefighter Day today. DNR Commissioner Dave Upthegrove and firefighting leaders statewide will join him in Ellensburg to urge public caution over the 4th of July holiday. The day recognizes the dedication of wildland firefighters and support personnel who work to save lives, property, infrastructure, and natural resources every fire season. National Wildland Firefighter Day is always July 2nd and is part of a week of remembrance which began yesterday and runs through the 6th. This year's remembrance, of course, follows the tragic deaths of 2 wildland firefighters in Coeur d'Alene on Sunday who were shot and killed while responding to a wildfire. And high on Badger Mountain, up near the top of it, stands the Vista Hut. It's a gazebo that overlooks the Badger Mountain ski area just outside of Waterville. The structure is owned by the town of Waterville. It dates back to 1939 and, as you might imagine, is beginning to show its age. Community boosters are holding a fundraiser to help save the old shelter, which generations of townsfolk have used as a gathering place during the ski season. NCWLIFE met with the mayor of Waterville and the museum director to talk about Vista Hut's place in the town's history.
My name is Lloyd Smith, Mayor of Waterville. I have a small business in Waterville, the local barbershop. I've been there about 16 years. The city owns this property, the entire development up here on the Vista Hut. Yeah, it was a historical site that was dedicated, I believe, back in 1938, 39, and that's when the township declared it as the Vista Hut, and so the community has always supported it. We do have the rope tow. This last year was the busiest year they've had in almost 30 years. When the snow flows up here, the people come from all over the state. And from what we understand, that this was one of the original earliest ski slopes in the state of Washington. It's not just skiing, they do a lot of cross country up here.
It's a very important historic part of Douglas County, it really is. And of course the town of Waterville owns this hill and owns this spot where this sits, so it becomes part of our responsibility as a community to make sure it's maintained. They built this out of native lumber here on the hilltop. You know, because it's native lumber, it's starting to show the wear and tear of aged wood, and the ground, you know, it's rotted out off below ground in several places, and it roof needs some help. It's got some holes in it. It's been used for picnics, it's been used for club gatherings, it's been used for family gatherings. Of course, it has been a lover's lane for 70, 80 years now. Beautiful, spectacular view. You know, we're sitting on top of a hill and can see most of the plateau, can see the ring of mountains around us. Can't see the Columbia, but we can see about everything else. And so the beauty of this spot and the serviceability of this spot has been a known part.
Our goal this year is to replace the roof area. It's almost on the verge of being a fire hazard at this point. Yeah, the metal roofing will last for many, many years to come. We're going to be pouring concrete next year just because of the finances. And we're going to put a concrete slab through here. There'll be a concrete border and we'll stabilize it. We've already done core samples on the posts. There are 2 posts that need to be replaced. We're looking at less than 10,000. Right now we're doing QR codes and doing donations. So, and we're looking at trying to do a grant, but unfortunately anything that's 50 years older or older, grants are now really being prohibited.
Originally we thought we'd have to just tear it down and rebuild it, which would be a $30,000 project. It is a historic preservation, it really is, and look, you know, just to look around says this is an absolutely spectacular part of Douglas County. It really is. It's a beautiful part of Douglas County, and we want to protect it.
Our top story this morning was Sheriff Mike Morrison giving the Chelan County Commissioners an update on the search and the cost of Travis Decker. We have that footage for you now.
We did put out a ground unit on Saturday of over 30 people that did a grid search around the campsite, extending out, following up on additional information. We inserted additional units into the enchantments area that did follow-up searches. We had our cadaver dog out again. That was not the first time we've had cadaver dogs. We've had cadaver dogs out from the beginning. We also had our search dogs out. We've had additional ground teams following up. We've received additional results back from State Patrol's crime lab that did not come back to be a match, and that was just an area of interest that we were looking at on the Kittitas County side. So we'll continue to follow up, but we did get positive confirmation that the DNA from the crime scene does match up with the DNA that we believe to be Mr. Decker's. So I know there's a lot of questions on that. Was there a match? Yes. Based off what we have, yes. And there were no other suspects that have been identified so far with DNA samples that we've gotten back from the crime lab. And we'll have additional National Park Service team that is going to be deploying in the high school. That's going to go from above the campsite all the way down to the Columbia. In addition to our Swiftwater team will be in there again. And we'll continue to search with our GoPro cameras that we had going in the water for areas of interest. So we're very much still invested in that process, and we're going to continue to search until we get to a point where we feel it would not be a vital utilization of our funds to continue to go through there. But I'd point out a lot of the teams that are in there are volunteering their time and their resources. I wouldn't say volunteering, they're paying for the bill, but they're not billing Chelan County. And I'd imagine so far this operation's been over $6 million is what we're getting, generalization. And majority of that has not been billed back to Chelan County. If we had to take on the investigation by ourselves, I'd imagine we would have eaten up close to half our budget.
And that is the news here on this Wednesday. More news coming your way tonight. The NCWLIFE Evening News on television at 5, 6, and 10, online at about 5 o'clock on our YouTube page and our home page with a link to both of those newscasts where you can find them on our Facebook page. And if you have a news tip, we'd love to hear from you. news@ncwlife.com is our email address. Mariners lost, not so heartbreaking. Apple Sox lost very heartbreakingly. Sports is next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
The Surf and Slide Water Park is open from Memorial Day through Labor Day. Surf and Slide is located in the heart of Central Washington in Moses Lake with activities for all ages and abilities. Check out Surf and Slide's Flow Rider Surfing Simulator, Lazy River, 2 200-foot water slides, tube slides, and diving boards. Our children's area includes a Treasure Island water structure, splash pad, and baby octopus slide. For season passes, visit us online or find Surf and Slide on Facebook.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. It's time to enjoy one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today.
Caught in a conflict? Family, workplace, neighbor, business, housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe you should get more from less. Like more hustle, less hassle. More of the best service around, less of the runaround. Because we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. So you get more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. It's why we're more than proud to say, you get more from less.
Sports at 22 minutes after the hour. Salvador Perez hit a big 2-run double in the 5th inning. Unfortunately, Salvador Perez plays baseball for the Kansas City Royals, who beat the Mariners 6-3 last night. This is their second win in 10 games. 5 Royal relievers combined for 4 1/3 scoreless innings of 1-hit relief. Randy Arozarena homered in the bottom half of the second. That's his 11th this season and 3rd homer in 4 at-bats. But Cal Raleigh took the collar. He went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts.
In the early innings. Grounded up the middle and into center field, and Michael Garcia picks up the Royals with a 2-out RBI.
Man, that's really nice. That's a big clutch hit right there with 2 outs. Look at him. Emerson thought about fielding it with his hand, but man, he don't want to do that. It's a good thing he didn't hit him. He'd be out of the game probably if he tried to catch that. That ball was hit hard. Very nice. Top spin.
That is line fair. That'll snap the 0 for 24. Caglione to third. Vance Wilson's going to send him home. And the relay is a looping throw from the left field corner, so no chance for a play at the plate. And the Rave has a nice lead over at first base. And Isbell hits it, and a second baseman, Young, makes a tremendous play. No double play. A run scores. The Royals lead 3-0, but
among the fewest at-bats with the bases loaded this year in baseball, the Royals. This is chopped softly, tough play. Williamson, and in time. That is a really big play by Ben Williamson.
Yeah, it's huge for so many different reasons, but the fact that we talked about how good he has been coming in on ball, but he's cutting in front of J.P. Crawford, so you have that natural instinct to maybe back off or hesitate.
Out to left field, shot back, and he's hit another one out. Randy Arozarena has homered for the 3rd time in his last 4 at-bats.
Well, they certainly come in bunches for Randy Arozarena when he's seeing it. He's crushing it. Plenty of hard contact lately. It's paying off. 3 home runs in this homestand already for Randy.
and that's hit well, right center field. Rodriguez goes to the track at the wall, and it's a 3-run home run. Or did it stay in play? It did. Royals already have their hands in the air to want to take another look at it, and Vinny Pasquantino, who had to hesitate, as the Royals' first reaction was that that ball was gone.
Ooh, the captain, man, that ball, it looked like it had helium, and it just kept going higher and higher. I thought for sure it'd be in the first 3 or 4 rows.
He bats with the runner at third. This is inside the bag and into right field. An RBI base hit for Williamson. He's racing to second base, and he is safe. A hustle double. Raley scores from third.
You can get that mistake right here, put an extra run on the board.
This is looping, dropping, shallow left field, base hit, J.P. Crawford. An RBI knock from the Mariners shortstop brings in Ben Williams. Here's Caglione. He smokes this ball, but it's caught on a line by Solano at first base. That was 107.
Noah Cameron will go tomorrow. And looking to put the Royals ahead in the series 2-1 when he takes them out tomorrow.
Game 3 in the 4-game series is tonight. Logan Gilbert will start on the mound. Kansas City will go with Noah Cameron. First pitch is at 6:40. Everybody in the American League West won yesterday except the Mariners. That means the Astros now have a season-best 7-game lead over Seattle. The Angels are 8.5 games back. The Rangers 9.5 games back. Well, the Apple Sox hopes of winning the WCL North Division first half title ended in walk-off fashion last night. Kamloops scoring on a base hit in the bottom of the ninth to pull out the 1-0 victory. With Wenatchee's loss, Bellingham wins the first half title and will advance to the playoffs. The Sox begin their second half of the season tonight with one more game at Kamloops, and then they host Kelowna on Friday night. Into the West Coast League scoreboard we go. Some teams are still playing the first half. Some teams are playing the second half. Nanaimo, for instance, still has 2 more games to go before they begin their second half campaign. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at 27 minutes after the hour. The holiday today is I Forgot Day. Scientists believe that the average adult has over 70,000 different thoughts in a single day. I know people who don't have 7 thoughts in a single day. Your short-term memory only holds about 7 pieces of information at any one time. So, you know, it's obvious that we will simply forget stuff over the years. Over the course of a lifetime, scientists estimate that the human brain will hold about 1 quadrillion pieces of information. If that's the case, how come I can't remember how to play the piano anymore? Today is, oh, that's right, I forgot day. Always on July 2nd because it was on the internet. Today in history, he was getting ready to take a little vacation. President Garfield, he was waiting at the depot at the Baltimore and Potomac Railroad when Charles Guiteau shot James Garfield, the President of the United States. He would linger for 79 days until he finally died on September 19th. Most experts agree that the medical attention he got wasn't very good, even by 1881 standards. 88 years ago today, Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan are trying to fly all the way around the world via the equator, and they are last heard from somewhere over the Pacific and have never been heard from again. That was on this date 88 years ago today. July the 2nd, 1941, a sweltering day at Yankee Stadium, 53,000 on hand. Joe DiMaggio does it. He breaks Wee Willie Keeler's Major League record hitting streak of 45 with a 3-run homer off Red Sox hurler Dick Newsom, and he would continue to hit in every game for a few more weeks. Happy anniversary to Walmart. The very first Walmart opened on this date in Rogers, Arkansas. It has been, as you might imagine, quite successful. Walmart is the world's largest company by both revenue and the largest private employer in the world, 2.2 million employees, although I think they call them associates. Walmart averages a net profit of about $2 million every hour. In fact, if Walmart was a country, it would have the 27th largest economy in the world. Walmart. I've been to the Wenatchee Walmart once. Once is fine. It's the bottom of the hour, and U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson, on this date 61 years ago today, signs one of the most significant pieces of domestic legislation, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, to prohibit segregation in public places. Birthdays. Speaking of segregation, Thurgood Marshall, the first African-American to serve on the United States Supreme Court, the 88th Associate Justice, born in the state in 1908, founded the NCAA NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund, successfully argued Brown v. Board of Education. Born 100 years ago today, Medgar Evers. 100 years ago today, he was the field secretary in Mississippi for the NAACP. He worked to overturn segregation at the University of Mississippi, to end segregation in public facilities, to expand opportunities for African Americans, including enforcement of voting rights. And because he had all of those things, he came under the attention of the white supremacists and the Ku Klux Klan, who shot him to death on his front yard of his home in 1963. The king is 88 years old today, Richard Petty. Statistically speaking, he is the most accomplished driver in the history of NASCAR. He won 200 races, including the Daytona 500 7 times. The king, Richard Petty, is 88. And Larry David, Larry, I'm sorry, that's not Larry David. That's Martin Barron from the Wenatchee School Board. There he is. That's a little mess up there. Larry David is 78. He co-created, was the head writer and the producer of Seinfeld, of course, for its first 7 seasons, and then he wrote or co-wrote every episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Happy 78th to Larry David. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. My air conditioner has not been turned off for about a week. My guess is neither has yours. Most air conditioners can handle it, but if it's older, maybe it isn't. If it goes on the clonk, give Alpine Air a call. Mike Bernardi came to the realization that one of these days he's going to die. That'll be his opinion. And then the great piece of work done by Josiah Davison on the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center, the first of what we hope to be many pieces like that. You're going to see something you're going to like a lot. When we come back, you're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
Settle in for summer savings on stressless furniture at Boswell's. Right now, get a $100 instant rebate for every $1,000 you spend on stressless recliners, sofas, and accessories. Plus, save $50 on stressless Laurel and Mint dining chairs or home office chairs. Shop Boswell's, 2915 Easy Street in Wenatchee.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Welcome to Mountain Chick Floral, your go-to flower and plant shop in downtown Wenatchee. Explore their wide variety of unusual and fun plants. And when you buy a plant in a container, they'll pot it up for you absolutely free. Birthday or weddings, they'll create the perfect floral arrangement for you. Brighten up your office with fresh blooms delivered to your door or business. Ask about floral subscriptions. Visit Mountain Chick Floral today, where every occasion is a reason to celebrate with flowers. Now there are even more reasons to meet at the Pybus Market. Outdoor dining and tastings, the fabulous Farmers Market, Saturday artisans on the concourse, and your favorites all week long. No matter the reason, it's always time to meet at the Pybus Market. Pybus Market, where community meets.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, some of you know my sweet wife Rosie's heart stopped just about a year ago, and thank God a good pal was with her to do CPR and it saved her life. But another old pal of mine recently died, and I hear that he just collapsed for some reason, and oh gosh, tragically, one of his grandkids found him. Wow, terrible. So considering mortality, now I'm convinced this is not morbid. Considering our mortality is healthy. I really think it's healthy to realize that this is a one-way trip, and ignoring our eventual demise doesn't allow for necessary preparation. And I'm not only talking about the issues of eternal reality. Are our affairs in order? Do we have a will? Do we have an advance directive? Have we arranged for the practical things like making sure the day-to-day issues of our life will be taken care of if we're suddenly gone? That's probably something we should not avoid thinking about. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
You trust the same doctor for your health and the same dentist for your smile. Trust Global Car Care to keep your vehicle running strong. We track your car's history so it gets the right care at the right time. With our 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on parts and labor, you'll drive away with confidence. Global Car Care, your automotive experts. We service all makes and models, but specialize in Sprinter vans, Mercedes, Audi, Volkswagen, and BMW. Call or visit us today.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Call Alpine Air Heating and Cooling today. Your comfort is their priority.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
For much of the past half-century, architecture was under the spell of a famous doctrine. Form follows function had become a modern manifesto, perceiving historic architecture as unnecessarily decorative and absent of utilitarian purpose. While this fails to acknowledge the creative problem-solving at work, it also fails to recognize the embedded, essential community stories scripted into our buildings.
Here in the Wenatchee Valley, we have a treasure trove of decorative and subtle historic architecture. In honor of National Preservation Month, I'm going to introduce you to some of these historic places. Places that are keepers of our community's history, telling the stories of the people that lived, worked, and played in our valley. Today, we're going to explore Wenatchee's architectural past, community stories, and unseen functional marvels hidden in plain sight.
We are starting our journey today in Wenatchee's historic post office, now home to the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. This building is one of the first in town to be included in the National Registry of Historic Places, first nominated to the list in 1976, just a decade after the register was established in 1966. The 1960s were a tumultuous time for historic architecture. Many of these buildings were seen as unuseful for their age, and their design was unappreciated. Recognizing the tragic loss of historically important buildings across the country helped ignite the preservation movement and save many buildings from potential destruction. As it goes with all fashions, these historic structures are recognized today for their beauty, and charming historic downtowns like Wenatchee's are appreciated and actively restored.
Aside from the aesthetic appeal of historic architecture, they are active community collection items that help us tell a deeper story. Let's take the museum floors here for a moment. Back in time when it was the sorting room floor of the Wenatchee Post Office, on a daily basis, a ton of mail or parcels would get sorted throughout the room. That shifting weight needed to be taken into consideration, and they did this by creating these unique floors. As you can see here, we have 2x4s that are cut on end and stitched together. They are then installed in the floor at their strongest point. And it is in this strength that they were able to actually solve their structural engineering problem using the most common building materials of the 1930s.
Additionally, above my head is the post office catwalk. This catwalk was installed as an early version of the security cameras we are all so familiar with now, with those slits in the catwalk acting as viewing monitors postal supervisors used for surveillance of postal employees' activities and general post office security. Historic preservation of buildings not only provides a look into our past, but allows history to be a continuum we are all participants in.
Let's head down to the museum archives, where collection manager Anna Spencer will show us around and will tell us a little bit about the past and current uses of this historic space. Hi, Anna.
Hi.
Thanks for having us here today.
Thank you. Welcome to the Archives Lab.
So thank you for having us down here. This is such a treat. Most people don't get to see into an archives lab. Give us a little bit of an orientation. What is this space and what's going on here?
This is, as you said, the Archives Lab. This is where when items are donated to the museum, they get processed, they get inventoried, they get boxed, housed, and then shipped out into one of our collection storage rooms to live out their days.
So when you say they get shipped out to the collection storage rooms, that's still here in the museum.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how do we store things here at the museum?
The basements of both of our buildings are comprised of about 20 rooms, and we try and categorize items by type. So this building houses a lot of our archival material. The basement next door houses a lot of the artifacts, the physical objects that we have. So, yeah.
Well, I think it's really interesting that we get to be in such an old building that has a history of its own, and we're having our historical repository here. Everybody knows us as the museum. Maybe everybody didn't know that our archives were here now, but now they do. A lot of the community remembers these buildings as the post office, but who else made their home here? Did these buildings have any other life other than being your archive lab?
Yeah, so before it was our lab, it was the Department of Agriculture's lab. So after the post office moved out, Department of Agriculture moved in, and this is where they would do experiments on pesticides, tree fruit dips to help with decay, and then in our hallways, if you see when you're down here, you'll see the large fridge doors. This is where they did experiments on climate control and the atmospheric testing they would do to figure out what is the perfect way to preserve an apple and keep its longevity.
So this is just fascinating. A building that helped make Wenatchee the apple capital of the world now gets to share its history as the apple capital of the world. We have quite a few buildings here in the valley that have those kind of layered histories and have a lot of community stories. There's one that I'm thinking of that has been hidden for some time, and now with it coming more out into the open, there's a lot of interest around it. We're going to be joined by Mr. Ron Lodge, and he's going to take us through the Chelan County Jailhouse, tell us a little bit about those stories, and then I'm hoping to actually find out the next chapter in that building's life.
That's great. Have fun.
Driving down Wenatchee Avenue, most people had no idea they are driving by Wenatchee's oldest brick building, located on the corner of Wenatchee Avenue and Kittitas Street. 133 years ago, the Clark Hotel was erected, and for many, it was their first stop in Wenatchee after disembarking the Great Northern Railroad. The Clark Hotel, built in 1893, was actually the key to Wenatchee becoming the county seat and the Chelan County Courthouse being located in Wenatchee. In 1899, with the creation of the county finalized, both the city of Chelan and the city of Wenatchee wanted to lay claim to the county seat. Judge Burke, who owned the Clark Hotel, helped secure the seat for Wenatchee by selling the Clark Hotel for $1 with the stipulation that it be used as the courthouse, but that the county should be named Chelan.
Hi Ron, thanks for joining me today.
Hey Mariah.
We are at the site of the Wenatchee jailhouse, actually the Chelan County jailhouse.
Yes.
For much of the past couple of decades, it's been out of sight, out of mind. Not out of sight for you, as your office was right in front of this, but it once was a lively part of the history of here of downtown Wenatchee. And I don't think there are many of us around that remember what it was like back in its heyday, but I'm hoping you could tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. The jail itself was built in 1910, and it was an add-on to the courthouse, which was next door. The building on the corner was originally built as the Clark Hotel when the railroad came through in 1893 and became the courthouse in 1900 when Chelan County was formed. And then about 10 years later, in 1910, they erected this jail building. And I just discovered recently that it actually opened on, I believe it was August 27th, 1910. Believe it or not, this thing was built in 3.5 months.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
They awarded the contract in May and it was ready to go at the end of August. And all brick, concrete, steel. They said the only wood in it was the window casings. Everything else was, fireproof. And it had about 8 jail cells on the main floor. Each would hold up to 3 prisoners, so it could hold 24 prisoners on the main floor, all men. And then upstairs, there was actually a padded cell and a couple of cells for juveniles and a ward for women. And so it was deemed as simply escape-proof when it was built, and one of the finest jails in the state of Washington in 1910. So if you look at the building from the outside, it pretty much looks exactly like it did in 1910. It really has not changed. The interior, when Chelan County built their existing courthouse, which is on Washington Street. That was in 1924. And then this property was purchased by the Doneen family, by John Doneen. And he converted the courthouse back into a hotel. It was called the Doneen Hotel. And the jail building, they called that the Hotel Annex. They took out all the bars and took the bars out of the windows and the cells and everything, put in partition rooms, and actually put in sleeping rooms with running water and toilet rooms down the halls and that kind of thing. And so it operated as a hotel until about 1939, and that's when the John Doneen leased the property to Signal Oil, and they vastly renovated the building on the corner, turned it into a gas station, and then the jail building ceased to be used at that point. Although one of John's daughters, Mary Ellen Doneen, actually lived there for a while and into the mid-50s. So she used it as a personal residence until sometime in the mid-50s, and after she moved out, it's really been vacant ever since then. So the last 70 years, it's been a vacant building.
Yeah, so its occupants have gotten smaller and smaller and smaller, with 24 plus inmates in it back at its start to, sure they didn't have 3 people per room when it was a hotel.
No.
So, and then somebody got to call it their home for a while.
Yeah.
What a fascinating place to have a home.
Yeah, fascinating history.
Yeah, well, like many of our buildings here, it seems like there is not any one building that keeps its space as the single use,
Right.
It gets to become part of the community in many different iterations. You got to use it for a little while when Keyhole Security was at front here.
Yeah, I used it for storage for about 25 years. It did have some residents then. They were called pigeons, and I had to get them all cleared out with a butterfly net and throw them out the window and and we got it all secured, got it all boarded up and screened off to keep the pigeons out. So I think it's been tenant-free for quite a while now.
Yeah.
So.
How much of the inside would you say is like it was back 100 years ago, and how much?
It has not changed in 100 years.
Changed.
The partitions that are in there were built in 1926.
Okay.
And so we're approaching 100 years.
Yeah.
That it really has not changed one bit. So it is a step into the past.
Yeah, we get to time travel a little bit.
Really, yeah, it's amazing.
Well, thank you. You know, this building thankfully has an exciting future in front of it, and its occupancy is going to explode when the community gets to become more involved in it. So I'm thrilled to be able to share its history. I want to thank you for coming and joining, and I think we're going to go chat with somebody else to figure out what the future vision of this building is going to be.
Awesome, I can't wait.
Yeah, great to talk to you, Ron.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The title of Wenatchee's oldest brick building has moved on to a new bearer this spring with the demolition of the old courthouse building. That title now belongs to the Morris Building, just a few blocks north on Wenatchee Ave. This transition has set the stage for the old jailhouse to come front and center and claim a spotlight as a future fixture of downtown.
Hi, Robert Carr with Widener Apartments.
Yes.
Mariah Thornock, thanks for joining me here today.
Mariah, great to see you.
So Robert, I don't know if you know this, but your project has generated a lot of excitement here in Wenatchee. You have uncovered a lost treasure for us. This building was hidden for quite some time, and once that building in front of it came down, people are eager to know what's to become of this. And I'm hoping you might be able to tell us a little bit about the history of this project, what you guys are taking on, and the vision of where you see it going.
Absolutely. Well, we were also very excited to see this building uncovered. We're very excited for the future, and we think that this building represents obviously the past. It represents the history of Wenatchee, but it's going to be a centerpiece of the future of Wenatchee as well. We're going to redevelop this entire site, 212 apartments, but at the center of that is the old jailhouse, which will be the centerpiece of 15,000 square feet of retail, restaurant space. The old jailhouse is going to be a speakeasy, and we're super excited about maintaining this kind of cultural artifact of Wenatchee and integrating it into the future of downtown.
Well, this is really going to be a wonderful addition to our historic downtown. We have a lot of lovely buildings that over the years have been rehabilitated, preserved, and are really in their shining glory. So we're really excited to be able to stretch the downtown corridor and include this. Is this the first time Widener Apartment Homes has taken on a restoration project like this, or have you seen this done in the past?
You know, this is really the first time we've done anything like this with a building of this vintage. So it's new ground for us, but it's something that we're very excited about and passionate about.
Well, wonderful. We think this is going to be a great addition to the neighborhood. How fun is it going to be for us once this is done to come have a drink in a speakeasy in the old jailhouse? I mean, it certainly excites the imagination. Do you have about a timeline of when you think this will be ready for the public, and you and I can come and have our first drink here?
Absolutely. So 2027 is our goal, and we think that we should be able to meet that probably about 2 years from right now. We should be able to, knock on the door, or however you get into the speakeasy, and figure out how to enjoy ourselves there.
Well, sounds good. Well, I might call you back up to figure out that password here in a few years. But I appreciate your time today. I really appreciate your vision for this building. Thank you for preserving a piece of Wenatchee's history, and excited for the future.
Yeah, well, we are too. Thank you very much.
We've only scratched the surface when it comes to the historic buildings in Wenatchee and their fascinating history. I hope you'll take the time to explore more, whether it's through one of the museum's programs, like our Downtown Docent-led walking building tour, or the self-guided walking history tour. Take a day to be a tourist in your hometown. Discover for yourself the hidden stories in the buildings and places here in the Wenatchee Valley.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. It's time to enjoy one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today. Now there are even more reasons to meet at the Pybus Market. Outdoor dining and tastings, the fabulous Farmers Market, Saturday artisans on the concourse, and your favorites all week long. No matter the reason, it's always time to meet at the Pybus Market. Pybus Market, where community meets.
Central Washington Water understands the power of healing waters. If part of your wellness routine includes hot heat from a sauna, Central Washington Water now carries indoor and outdoor infrared and hot rock saunas by Tilo. Research shows there are many health benefits to a cold plunge after a good workout or relaxing time in your sauna. Harness the power of water in a hot spring spa, plug-and-play spas, a Tilo sauna, or a cold plunge tub. Stop by Central Washington Water, your wellness experts.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe you should get more from less. Like more hustle, less hassle. More of the best service around, less of the runaround. Because we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. So you get more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. It's why we're more than proud to say, you get more from less.
Temperature hasn't moved since the show began. It's still 75 degrees. Ephrata, you're already at 82 degrees. Ephrata hit 100 yesterday. So did Moses Lake. We didn't quite. We got to 98 degrees. It's a weak weather system that's coming in. It's going to kind of slide in through the high pressure ridge, which is why we have wind, which is why, unfortunately, a red flag warning. The recipe is there. Warm temperatures, strong winds, and relative humidity's way down there, like about 15–16% for the Wenatchee Valley. That means red flag warnings, and we got one for today from 2 o'clock this afternoon till 9 o'clock tonight about sunset. The strongest winds will be between about 5 to sunset tonight. It's also going to be windy on Thursday afternoon, not quite as windy and also not quite as warm as today, but the same time period applies for tomorrow as it does for today. Between 5 to about sunset Thursday will be our strongest wind. So we may have a red flag warning tomorrow as well. We'll know when we get together tomorrow morning. Sunshine today and a lot of it, but a lot of wind too. Sorry, folks, and a high of about 90 degrees. So it's going to be considerably cooler than yesterday's 98. Mostly clear, breezy tonight. We'll get down to 63. More wind on Thursday. Not as bad, but still windy on Thursday. And then the weekend looks just about perfect. It's going to be sunny and warm, but not hot. Right about normal for Independence Day on Friday. Saturday, a couple of degrees warmer. Lots of sunshine, very little wind. Light wind on Sunday and Monday. Back up to triple digits by Tuesday and Wednesday. It's summertime and the living is easy. And I'm out of here. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.